And he's going to have to do it by destroying all the evil and remaking the world. Literally. From the ground up. We're not going to be able to fix this. And, Isaac didn't understand that, at least when I had talked to him. He really believed that we could turn this ship around somewhat. And I just really hope people just give up that false hope. Not because we shouldn't try. It's not that we shouldn't try to make the world better. We're called to do that. But we're not supposed to believe that we as people can save it. Because that is Antichrist. And I'm just, what I witnessed, the way Isaac was treated, that was one of the things that majorly opened my eyes about this community I had considered myself a part of for, several years at this point. Just everybody, they were just a bunch of jackals, And I trusted Titus Frost. I had gone to him with my information and he never did shit about it. He never mentioned it, never used it as, some type of dot with the rest of his research that I saw. But when he tried to defend Random Rants of Ryan and, who, by the way, I had also directly contacted from the very beginning and given him Isaac's number. And before he ever came out with this whole thing about trying to discredit, the Voodoo Donuts thing and everything else. And even though we had spoken before, at some length about my information, he totally just ignored me, didn't want anything to do with it. Which was real suspicious. But when Titus Frost seemed to take up for him, and and Honeybee, that was when I realized, because I had trusted Titus, I didn't agree with him about everything, but that was when I realized, these people, they don't even have to be intentionally misleading others. It's just that they are so egotistical. And built up, and they're just puffed up because of all these people that listen to them, and and they're so concerned with being wrong that you really can't trust them. Very few, very, very few, because they are going to defend their own honor and their own pride at all costs. Titus had nothing; he had no argument to defend Random Rants of Ryan whatsoever. And he was still trying to do it just because he was friends and he didn't want Lift the Veil to be right. That's what it was. He didn't want Nathan to be right because it was making him mad. I could see it in his eyes. He just didn't want to have to admit that he'd been had and taken in by a bunch of con artists and scammers. I don't necessarily think he's a scammer himself, but he might as well be when he behaves that way. And I don't know if a lot of you will know what I'm talking about. I don't know how closely you followed all this, but those who do, you will know what I'm talking about. And it was disgraceful. That whole thing was disgraceful. And I just hope you'll just withhold your judgment about not only Isaac, but other people like him. Somewhat, unless you really try to talk to them one-on-one, because this community of so-called truthers, they are able to spin things in all kinds of crazy ways. And people's paranoia about being deceived is so high that they will just go ahead and write somebody off preemptively. But that is a pride thing. Understand, that is your pride if you do that. The only time you can totally write somebody off is if they preach you a false gospel, false hope. All right, I have a minute left, and I might add more to this later, but I'm just going to go ahead and post it. All right, guys.